Hello guys, welcome to week 1 of the Turtwig Draft League. This video is going to be a little bit shorter than usual because I just got home from a Comic-Con. It was an awesome experience. If you've never been to a Comic-Con, I completely recommend, but that is besides the point. This week we're facing Venu. Their team is Bugscuffle. You can see on the right a breakdown of my weaknesses and my opponents. I decided to test out Thwacky, aka Ringo, for the grassy terrain strat week 1. Hawlucha is really good with acrobatics, especially considering Chestnut has a 4 times weakness to flying. You can also see that if Morpeko outspeeds, it can take down most of our opponents with flying, electric, or dark, so we went with flying Terra Morpeko. Jake Suit got on the team because it works very well with the grassy terrain and is a strong special attacker. Fortress is on the team as a rapid spinner and to set up spikes and rocks. Finally, Suicune is our tank. I was worried with Raikou, however, Suicune can set up Calm Minds and Scald for high damage while also tanking a massive amount of hits with Substitute and Protect. Now, without further ado, let's get into the match. Alright, so time for the battle. You see I open with Thwacky trying to get the grassy terrain up early. This was a strategy that did not end up paying off. I decided to U-turn out thinking I'd get a free switch, but Earth Power did massive damage to Custard. Thankfully, I had Focus Sash, but considering Custard is our Terra lead, this is very dangerous. This was the worst moment of the match for us. I switched in Hawlucha, aka Rey Mysterio, who was going to be our main sweeper, thinking that they'd use Earth Power again as they've used it twice. However, our opponent, Venu, called our switch, and thus we got one-hit KO'd with Draining Kiss. This was huge as in all my mocks, Hawlucha took out at least 2 to 3 Pokemon minimum. I tried to bring in Monkey to set up hazards, but Drifblim has the ability to get rid of our terrain and our hazards. Avoiding this Will-O-Wisp was big, but as you'll see, it wasn't big enough. Raikou comes out, and we're of course weak to electric, which does not help us. I try to put up the substitute and start building up Calm Minds, but Raikou has Calm Mind too. At first I thought I'd build up Calm Minds, thinking that they'd predict the switch. They didn't, however. I continued working on the Calm Minds, but eventually realized this wasn't going to work due to the weakness, and thus I ended up switching out. I switched out to Thwacky, hoping to build up some Swords Dancing at minimum, and it could get past the special defense. However, this of course did not go to plan as well. The grassy terrain was set, and the Thunderbolt was resisted. However, they swapped into Namorous Heat, which meant that my knockoff did barely any damage. I got rid of the heavy-duty boots, but they just didn't switch in much more. It wouldn't do that much over time, not to mention they still had Drifblim to clear up hazards. This was a massive blunder on my end. I should have predicted the Mystical Fire, but I didn't, and thus I took massive damage and died in one hit. I hope that Jake Suit could be my new sweeper, considering the grassy terrain. However, this did not go to plan either. The paralyzation means that I'll be slower than almost all of his team. It makes sweeping near impossible. I tried to take out the Umbreon knowing the paralyzation would make Armor Rouge of little use, which I did successfully, but it was a small victory as I switched into Raikou and quickly took me out. This was very worrying considering my team had little left that it could do against Raikou, especially with the Terra flying and Morpeko being weak. I faked out just trying to buy time, but there was very little I could do. They outsped, and it was pretty much the end for me. From here forward, the match became very slow. It was mostly me stalling, just trying to come up with a way to take down the team, but it was hopeless. I sped it up for your guys' sake because it is not entertaining to watch. The type advantage she had was just too big, especially considering that she still had 5 Pokemon and I had 2, so there was little hope for me at this point. I tried as hard as I could, but the Roaring Rattatas took an L this week, as you could probably predict. You can see here we were on our final 2 Pokemon, and I got a burn on Raikou, which I was very excited about, but it wasn't enough to protect Monkey or Suicune from a one-hit KO. I took as long as I could, but the recover always healed the damage of the burn dealt, and there was nothing much else I could do. So sadly, this week was a loss for us. This week was a rough start to the season. I have hope for us moving forward, however, and we'll learn from this. I'm sorry for the more low-key editing. Like I said, I was really busy IRL today and did not have much time for this video, but I hope you still enjoyed. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this every week. We will be fighting to the end for this league, and I believe we can make a comeback. So make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye!